Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I want to talk about vesting your service dog in training because this is something we get a lot of questions about in both our courses and our free Facebook group. What type of vest, when to vest, all of these different things. Before we get into the conversation, because I'm going to answer our top 3 frequently asked questions. Before we get into the conversation, I do want to make it very clear that I'm in the United States. Our laws here are going to be different than laws in other countries. Wherever you are in the world is going to change the laws that govern service dog use where you live. So there are countries that are going to require vests, certain types of vests in certain locations at certain points. There are different laws that govern service dogs and service dogs in training in different places of the world. So it is absolutely your responsibility to know the law where you live, both on a, country level, a federal level, as well as a more local level. In the United States, there are some states that require dogs in training to be labeled, which is not addressed in ADA. However, not a lawyer, just saying these are my opinions, and everybody needs to be clear about what the laws are in your location because they are vastly different depending on where you live. All right, so let's get into it. The first question we get a lot is, when should I vest my dog? Now, assuming legally it's up to you, which again, we have just discussed is different depending on where you live in the world. Assuming that it is legally up to you whether or not you vest your dog, here are a couple of things to consider. First, when I first started training service dogs, I found that having a vest on them really made me more nervous because I was nervous about, he's wearing a vest and what if he doesn't act like a service dog, or what if he barks, or what if, just all these what ifs, right? And so not having a vest on the dog took a lot of that pressure off. So when I first started training service dogs, I only vested them when we went into places that only service dogs were allowed to go. So places that pet dogs are not able to go into, Target, the mall, movie theaters, things like that. This helped me to build my confidence as a trainer. So that is something to consider. I personally think that when you are anywhere that is only open to service dogs, you really should have your dog labeled. Again, opinion, don't come for me in the comments. This is what I think. You will have less access issues if your dog is labeled. When you are going someplace that is open to pet dogs, so a lot of hardware stores, a lot of hobby stores, outdoor locations to train, then it really depends on you, okay? I now do vest my dogs whenever we go anywhere for formal training. So if we're going somewhere for casual socialization or something, I probably won't vest my dog. But if we're going there to practice healing and to practice obedience and things like that, I probably will. And I do that because where I live, my dogs, I should say, where I live, people are good at ignoring service dogs, whereas they are more likely to try and pet a dog who is not wearing a vest. So there are a couple of things to consider when you're deciding if you're going to vest your dog in training. One is, where are you going? Are you going somewhere that allows only service dogs? If so, I personally think you should have a vest on your dog. If you're going somewhere that pet dogs are allowed to be, it's up to you. The second thing to think about is your own anxiety. Will it make you more or less confident if your dog is wearing a vest? And the third thing to consider is the people in your area, the culture surrounding service dogs where you live. Are they more or less likely to give you and your dog unwanted attention if they're wearing a vest? So like I said, with my dogs where we live, if they're wearing a vest, people are very good at ignoring them. So putting a vest on them helps the training process because people don't try and touch them or talk to them or things like that. If you live somewhere where that's not the case, then that's not something to consider in the same way I consider it. So those are the 3 things. That was a little rambly. Sorry about that. But those are the 3 things to consider when you're deciding when to vest your dog. Where are you going? How will it help or hurt your confidence level? And how do the people in your area act around dogs who are wearing a service dog vest. Those are kind of the three things that I consider most. With the exception of, again, if we're not doing formal training, like if we're going for a very casual walk, if we're going for like a freedom walk, if we're going somewhere where I want my dog to be a little bit more social because that's what we're working on that day, then of course I'm not going to vest them. Now, the next question that we get a lot of is, what vest should I use? And this is where I do have a few perhaps unpopular opinions. Now, if your dog if they need to wear specific gear, like specific harnesses for their tasks, that is going to impact the vests you use. And I'm not speaking to those directly right now. My favorite vests, and I'm just going to throw this picture up again, are like the ones in this picture. They're simple, they're red or blue, and they have one patch on each side and one on the top. So in these two pictures, this is actually the same vest. One is just in red and one is in blue. I get these from sitstay.com. They're a teensy bit pricey, but they last. They are very high quality, and I've been very happy with them. Having them just red or blue with just the simple patches on them, in my experience, leads to the least access issues and the least attention. I personally have found and observed in others that when we start to have vests with lots of patches on them, people stop to read all the patches. When we start to have dogs wearing tie-dye vests or galaxy colored vests or multi-neon colored vests or whatever, more people stop to stare, more people ask to pet your dog, and more access issues happen than if we're using a simple red or blue vest that just says service dog or service dog in training. Now, if you enjoy putting your dog in colorful vests and you love all the patches and that makes you happy, you do it. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you are going to get more attention using vests that are colorful with lots of patches, not less. So that is something to consider when you're choosing your vest. And I do like I said, these are from sitstay.com. I also like the Roughwear harness, the Webmaster, which comes in red. And that is from roughwear.com, if I didn't just say that. And that is a really solid harness that you can sew or iron a service dog patch onto, and I've used those as well too, and I like those a lot. Just depending on like what you're looking for and whether you want to be able to attach a leash to it and stuff. Those are just my two favorites. There are lots and lots of vests on the market that you can choose from. The third question we get is, what if I can't or don't want to vest my dog? So there are a variety of reasons that you might feel as though you cannot, should not, don't want to vest your dog. You know, for example, perhaps it's very challenging for you to get a vest on your dog. Maybe your dog has a lot of hair and they make him hot. There are quite a few reasons why you may decide that a vest is not the best option for you and your dog. Assuming that is legal for you where you live, then this is up to you. However, I personally think they should be labeled. We have options like bandanas. We have options like leash sleeves that leash wraps, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but they go on the leash and they say service dog on them. And this can still really help. If you choose not to label your dog, you are going to have more people ask you and potentially even stop you when you go to do public access, because they're going to want to know, is this a service dog? If he's not wearing a vest, there's no way for them to know by looking at the dog that this is a service dog and not a pet dog walking into the store or into the location. So I personally think that dogs should be labeled, and depending on where you live, it might be legal. Like you might need to label your dog depending on where you live, like we said in the beginning. If your dog is hot, they do make vests that are more of a mesh material, so they breathe better. They make vests with different types of clips and clasps if getting the vest on your dog is a challenge for you. They do, and like I said, they make bandanas, collars, tags, leash wraps, all these different options for labeling your dog. So there are other options if a vest really isn't a good fit for you. If you have any questions about this stuff, the best place to ask them is in our free Facebook group, Train Your Service Dog with Confidence. I will put that link below. Make sure to hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and to share it anywhere else that other owner trainers might find it helpful. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.